Welcome back to the round 3 of the Challenger League for WCS Korea, Season 2 of 2013. We just saw a kind of an upset for a lot of fans. A lot of people expecting Keen taking that, but in fact it was True. And that's of course the results we had a little bit earlier on. So
True with a very, very impressive playstyle here. I really like what he was able to do in the best of 3 series. And you could really see after the match Keen sitting in the booth and he didn't really know what hit him there. So that was very impressive. True is going to the Premier League now. We have Keen in the up and downs. And now we are heading into our second Zerg versus Terran of the day. We have Reality going up against KangHo.
Yeah, and with these two players' playstyles, I feel like we're going to see a much more macro-oriented game. KangHo has been known to make Banelings and more Banelings. He loves his Banelings, but you know, when it comes to aggression and all-ins, he's usually not that type of guy. Sometimes you'll see an early pull out of him like we saw against Maru, but that was kind of a show match that we saw between those two players. I expect to see straight-up play from KangHo in this series. I think he's by far the better player, the more accomplished player. And what did Reality do to his hair? It looks kind of intense. Yeah, I saw it, but I couldn't remember. Now I'm looking at it again, close up, and it's intense. That's all I can describe it as. It's intense.
Trying to put a little bit of Marine King there.
Yeah.
Not quite.
It's almost like a hero what he's done here.
Well, I'm not quite sure if KangHo is that much of a favorite. I would give him a bit of an edge, but Reality's record so far in this matchup is, first of all, pretty good. And the one thing that has to be said about Reality is that he's constantly improving. And that's something that might give him an edge today. Like, KangHo is definitely the player who achieved a bit more in Starcraft 2, of course, because he's playing this game much longer now than Reality. But I feel those two are pretty much on eye level. I would expect a pretty close series here.
Yeah, KangHo is also, you know, he was looking really dominant last season of the Premier League, but this season, not so much. Falling down very low in the group. Only able to take that one game against Maru in the round of 16, so definitely could see him, you know, having a bit of a reality check here in this matchup up against Reality. See if he can kind of get himself stabilized a little bit, because he did, for his past few matches, have some trouble. Reality coming up from the preliminaries, by the way, for those of you guys who do not know that.
I love KangHo's smile. When he has that smirk on his face, yeah. That is just always so awesome. But well, it's time to get serious here, because we are going into game number 1, and the map is, as mentioned before, Anaconda. You can see that on screen right now. We have our third best of 3 actually at the WCS Challenger League Korea. It is LJM's KangHo going up against Samsung Khan's Reality. Our second Terran versus Zerg of the day. Let's jump into the game right away in the Challenger League of Call on Gold. Starting to the top left. It's not a dream, no, it is.
Samsung Khan Reality.
Yep.
And here we have him with an interesting keyboard color here, light blue, starting against the Zerg player, of course, to the bottom right of the map. We have, coming from the Premier League from the round of 16,
LGIM KangHo.
KangHo, such an accomplished Zerg. His most notable result of all time was making it to the finals and losing to his teammate Nesty in the ZVZ final. But he's always high up there. Somebody who will never go away.
Let's see what he can do here. I mean, he's one of my favorite players actually, but sometimes he seems to be a little bit shaky. In a scenario like this where he's up against a player who gained a lot of momentum in the recent past, he could have some troubles. He finished last, KangHo that is, in his round of 16 group at the Premier League. Well, let's see if he can go back to the Premier League right away. He certainly wants to make sure that there is no proxy. That is something that you can really see here with that scouting pattern that the drone is currently executing.
Extremely careful. You know, one thing to say about KangHo when I talk about his history is the people who played back in the day, who were really top tier players back when KangHo started playing StarCraft 2, most of those players have either retired, gone to the military, or disappeared. And KangHo's been around for so long in StarCraft 2 since the very beginning, since the beta. So he just really has a lot of experience with this game. Of course, we're going into now a new expansion. A lot of Kessel players have transitioned to StarCraft 2 as well. But you really have to respect that experience that KangHo has here. He's also going to block this wall for quite some time, really annoyingly with the drone.
Yeah. And KangHo also played a lot more games in StarCraft 2 in this matchup than Reality did. If you look at this match history, now that we have this bit of harass going on with the workers to the top left, we have 23 maps played for KangHo in Heart of the Swarm offline against Terran, and he won 11 of them. So he's actually at a negative win ratio with only 48%, and that includes his games that he won against Maru, where you can still argue that the games were completely obsolete and should maybe not have been played in the first time, or at least not been figured into the statistics here, because Maru knew that he would advance and Lucira was out, so we had 6 pools and everything going on in that particular match, which was just them having a bit of fun. But as it is, KangHo in this matchup, not the best player in Heart of the Swarm. Reality, on the other hand, he only played 7 maps, but the impressive thing about it is that he won 6 of them. 86% win ratio. The only map that he lost was against Hydra in Pro League. So that is something where KangHo has at least to be a little bit worried about.
Yeah.
The difference here is really the level of players that they've met. So the opponents of KangHo were definitely a little bit stronger than Reality's. But still, it's an impressive statistic to start with. So let's see if Reality can actually follow this up.
KangHo still has a scouting drone counter. The drone that he sent to scout and harass goes down to where the rocks are. So he's back there where Reality's likely going to take his third base. And for a while, it looks like he might even make a hatchery, but he just hit his drone far, far down in the bottom right corner. And with this drone, he can actually try to pop in and scout a little bit later. And this is something that Reality is checking for right now. He wants to make sure that nothing like that is going to happen. Really, really important that he does this, because he doesn't want to get scouted early on. And he's sending a Marine over there, and the Marine actually should eventually find this drone to the top right.
Yeah, it should find it at some point. What we have here for KangHo is now the third base, and this is always a bit of a point where the Zerg is worried, because with good drop play, you can really pressure Zerg's third on this map. We've seen this between Symbol and Maru a lot when Maru was dropping at exactly that location. So you always have to be very meticulous with their scouting, and that's something that KangHo shows us in this game already. What surprises me is that we are apparently going to see Halberds in this game.
Yeah, but you know what? This drone does not see it.
Yeah.
Nice scout there by Reality, because if he hadn't found that drone early on, he definitely would have scouted it.
For me, the question becomes if it's going to be a Halberd push, or if you really just see drop. And drop play would really disappoint me, because I have not seen it once in Heart of the Swarm after the recent patch been successful against any race.
Same. It's just, yeah, the cone is good, but the damage that you need to successfully kill the workers is just no longer there. An attack, though, makes a lot more sense, because you have the medevacs to heal, you do that cone damage to the Zerglings with also the Hellions that he's going to have out here to support. I could really see that working out.
I mean, most of the time what we see is just Halberds at the beginning being dropped, and then a follow-up back home where the Halberds are trying to distract the Zerg player. The Terran builds back at home a couple of additional Halberds, gets his Marines, maybe some Marauders into the game, and additional medevacs, and then attacks with everything together. But right now we already have 4 Hellions on the map, and those Halberds, I don't expect them to do too much, but it depends a little bit on how exactly KangHo is going to play this.
That Overlord does go down, he tries to scout here, and the Marine production is very delayed. He actually stops Marine production again for a second. I was actually wondering if he was going to go for mech for a second there, but with the stem, obviously that's not going to be the case. He's not even faking it. But yeah, let's see how much damage this drop does. I don't foresee a whole lot. The Queen count at a pretty standard 4 here.
The Overlord already is signaling back home what's going on here. Houston, we might have a problem. But
you know, with the Hellions as well, we'll see.
I don't think that those Halberds are going to do a lot.
He needs to pull his drones, obviously, here, and the Queens are already targeting the medevac down. This was... He doesn't even get a Queen here, and the Natural, though, a little bit exposed. This is the last concern.
Yeah, but a nice pull so far, lining them up, but has Zerglings there, and KangHo shot that down easy.
Yeah. Well...
No, not even with the last hit. Not even with the hit.
Yeah, and Reality in a terrible spot now. He's invested so much to this. Yes, he does have a third base coming up, but KangHo's had his for a while. He's also getting the upgrades much faster.
I mean, the one thing that you have with the Halberd attack in the current patch is definitely the element of surprise. Because it's like, what, really?
Yeah, that's definitely true.
That has to be a trick, right?
We didn't really even touch on that, but I think that that's definitely part of this attack for sure. And here comes another drop at the third base. Immediately the pull. He's also got the Spore Crawler there. The Lings here don't want to trade, but they're going to have to do something while the Queen goes to work on that meta bag.
Yeah, he needs to send a few more of those Queens over, or Zerglings at least, and that's what he's doing now. I'm surprised that he didn't try to take the medivac down, but now the next set of Hellbats is already gone. The supply in favor of KangHo. He has his 3 bases. He's going into lair. Has still a decent amount of harvesters here. Zerglings on the map, 1-1 about to finish.
He has really fast burrow too. He's using that right now to scout. As you can see with that Ling down there in the middle, he's going to see any move outs that Reality tries to make.
God, that was so awesome. Did you see the first Soul Key match on Newkirk where he played against Innovation and had Zerglings literally everywhere on the map scattered and burrowed? That was so awesome. I would so love if more Zerg players would do this.
I think it's definitely going to start happening. Aurora and Sulky really known for doing that, just burrowing their Zerglings early and having them everywhere on the map. We've also seen Leenock do this in countless matches back in the past, even in Wings of Liberty. Overlord speed getting researched now as a few Overlords start to fall to Reality's Viking. This is of course not because it doesn't have Overlord speed, but the Viking clearing up the Overlords so that Reality can continue to drop. But the Zerglings on the ground are still going to be great spotters.
Yeah, they are, and on a map like this you have to have those. We talked about the momentum that you sometimes get when you surprise your opponent with the drop, especially at this third base, and this is also why we have the Marine on patrol to the top right, so Reality will know right away that the rocks are being attacked here. And for KangHo now, even going into a macro hatch, like the game is really working out quite well for him. He gets the speed for the Overlords, sees what's going on, then he can go into Spire, he can go into Infestation Pit, so many options for him.
Yeah, we have the bunker already going up for Reality. Like you mentioned, he saw the rocks being destroyed. Probably going to put some Widow Mines over there as well, just to make sure that this Ling attack doesn't do too much. There's even a deeper wall, so Reality really just making sure he's got all the defenses possible, because on this map you always have to be concerned about those early run-bys. Look at this, the Lings, he has so many Lings burrowed all over the map, really taking a page out of Sulky's book here. Nice pickup on those depots. But he sees every little move out, and he's constantly got updates all the way down to where his creep is. There's a Ling burrowed everywhere.
Yeah, the one problem that we have, that's by the way a gap that you didn't see. The one problem that we have is that he only relies on Zerglings and Baiters. It's the only thing that he relies upon, and with good good Widow Mine hits, that army could just evaporate, but KangHo is most likely sending us few in just to trigger them, and now he has even Lings in the main base.
Yeah, he really should have had that depot raised earlier. The Widow Mine shots here are decent. It looks like it will actually help him deflect the Ling attack here.
Yeah, but Reality has now a slight supply lead, and he also has a pretty good bank. The 2-2 has been started for both, but once again, KangHo moves in, takes down the rest of the unit, and there are still Zerglings in the main. They are burrowed, so Reality might have missed that, and even if he didn't, he will have to use additional scans.
These Brainlings over here as well, how is he going to use them? You know, he could blow up so many of those depots, which would be a big cost hole for Reality. But more likely, he's just going to try to go for the SCVs. A little bit of a Ling run by here. While he's distracted, he's running in now.
Yeah,
here come the Speed Banes.
Banelings are moving in, and they are going to blow up those supply depots. Yep, there we go.
Well, that could have been done a lot better.
Yeah, moves in with the Baneling in the end, but yeah, okay, there we go. We have the Spire tech now being started. Supply block for KangHo. Needs to get those Overlords. 2-2 nearly completed for both of them.
I'm worried.
And more Banelings.
I'm worried for KangHo because he's using a lot of his resources for those Banelings for an attack, but he needs the Banelings at home because Reality's moving out. He has a supply lead, he has an army lead.
He moves in at the top left again. He has now units in the third base and also in the main, and this time there are not a lot of Marines left for Reality to deal with this, so he might lose a lot of his economy here, but the supply log for KangHo is becoming a big issue.
Yeah, becoming a big issue indeed. The Widow Mine shots here are excellent. The pickup is also good. Reality losing a lot at home though, like you said.
Another burrow, and I don't think he saw that.
I don't think so either, because he's so focused on this drop right now. Can KangHo defend his third base? It looks like he will with the Spine Crawlers there, and here come those Banelings. He needs to pick up on the medevacs.
Yeah, picks up and leaves right away, trying to aim for that main base or the natural. Another set of drops is heading over to that base to the left side of the map. Spore Crawlers and Queens everywhere, just welcoming those medevacs and waiting for them to happen. There are more additional Banelings, but they are next to a Widow Mine, so as soon as they are in burrow, they will be taken out.
I love Reality's multitasking here, clearing out so much of the creep. At the same time, another drop goes into the third base here. Fourth base going up for KangHo. That's so important. He really desperately needs it right now, but will he be able to hold it? That's the question.
Reality's macro is crazy. The guy is up 50 supply at this point, and the army supply alone, just look at this, 105 against 47. This is insanity. Even though KangHo always got links into the main and the natural, sometimes even the third base, this is just way too much for him to handle with.
Yeah, he's really struggling to defend the drops as well. Reality's always attacking at 4 different fronts. He's got 3 different drops going on right now as we speak, while also scanning and killing the tumors at the exact same time. This is nice for KangHo at the very least, catching these 2 medevacs for free.
Yeah, that's definitely helping him a little bit. And I really don't like that he got the Spire so late, but he tried to make it happen with a very Ling and Baneling heavy composition, relying a bit more on his upgrades. The problem for him really being that Reality, he just doesn't slip. A lot of Terran players would have panicked here, but Reality just looked at the game and analyzed what was happening, what is the next move for me, and he is now finding himself in a 30 supply lead with 3-3 on the production tab.
3-3 on the production tab here, splits against the Banelings, decent though for Reality. And there's not enough really mutas here, and how good are the Widowmine shots going to be? It looks like excellent.
Good enough to take out the Banelings, and that's exactly what they were for. Here comes the rest of KangHo's army moving in, and he at least kind of equalized the supply here. But keep those upgrades in mind. We do not have a Hive Tech here for KangHo, and we won't see one for a long time.
And he keeps getting supply blocked here. There's more and more Widowmines. This engagement is not going to go well if the Widowmine shots go off, and they do. The entire Mutalisk block is down in a second, and this may be it for KangHo. He just lost too many expensive units.
Yeah, he's now at 100 supply against 127, and he's on a clock, KangHo that is, because those 3-3 upgrades will give Reality even a much better lead than he already has, and we'll have, at this point in time, a 3 base economy for the Zerg player against 3 bases for Reality, and that's not going to work.
KangHo handling those Widowmines, I don't know what else to say, extremely poorly. He lost way too many units there. There was no reason for him to be even standing on top of them. He knew they were there, waited for the Overseer way too late.
The one thing that is really awesome about KangHo is that he has such a great lava management. He always has lava. This is such a lava-heavy composition that he's going for, but his injects are just spot on. He does a great job with those. Now, at this point, it only has 2 queens left, but every inject is being hit here. He rebuilds the queens immediately after they went down. But just Reality's multitasking, also his macro overall, seems to be even superior.
Yeah, it looks like it. So many drones going down here with another drop. KangHo just trying his best to hold, he keeps equalizing the supply for just a moment, but then that Reality macro kicks in. Now going to attack this 3rd base over here, the 4th I should say, at the top right, and there's way too many Terran units for KangHo to deal with. He needs his whole army to defend this. A run-by, though, is good.
The problem with his run-bys is really always that we have the reinforcements streaming out of those barracks so fast that he can't do a lot with the Zerglings. So even though we had a lot of Harvesters killed over the duration of the game, in total we have 25 SCVs killed by KangHo, but also 25 drones went down thanks to the drops that we saw from Reality. And the 3-3, once that finishes, I don't think that KangHo will withstand this much pressure when he's even behind upgrades.
Yeah, and the Widowmines are really starting to do a number on him here, as you can see, getting so many of those Zerglings. In Reality, killing so many Harvesters now, continuing it. The worker count is dead even. That's never what you want as a Zerg player.
Look at this bank for Reality alone. He's now up to 1,000 gas and minerals, and this is just going to increase. I would not be surprised to see additional command centers being built in just a few seconds.
He's adding those tech labs and the reactors right now on the barracks he just made. That's why he has kind of a bank here. Part of the reason why, anyways. Not to mention his good economy. Another run by here for KangHo at the 3rd base.
Yeah.
But
KangHo is getting now 10 Mutalisks, but Mutalisks are not going to do anything against 3-3 upgraded Marines.
Yeah, he needs to just clear up this ground army again. The biggest problem for KangHo is every time he kills the ground army, the medevacs just fly away, and now, at the very least, he has some mutas to help out, but he has to deal with the ground army first, and I just don't see it happening.
I don't think there's a right choice for KangHo anymore. He has to make his last stand here at the space, but he's not trading cost efficiently. Everything is moving in, and he might just barely be able to just throw this back for now, but look at the supply, look at the money, the upgrades, everything. He has just nothing going for him anymore.
Yeah. He's finally able to push it back off of his creep, but as soon as that happens, he pushes it again. Will kill the spine. The base soon to follow. KangHo out of luck here. He was supply blocked so much of this game. He lost so many of his overlords.
GG. Reality, he takes the game. And he is now 7-1 against Zerg.
An insanely good TVZer, and KangHo is having some trouble here.
Well, I don't blame him. Who wouldn't? This guy is dropping everywhere. Reality was in so many positions at once, and KangHo was trying to just play this composition with Ling Banelings at the beginning for a very long time. That Spire transition came so late. Maybe with a faster tech he would have been able to do something here, but it's also a pretty tough map to play for him.
Yeah. I really have to say KangHo wastes a lot of his resources on these Baneling run-bys that he could have micro better or should have micro better. If you're going to drop 8 to 10 Banelings on a different location than your defense, then you have to make sure that they're worth their while, that they're not just blowing up 2 depots and damaging a bunker. So he also really struggled against the Widow Mines. I feel like those are the 2 biggest weak points of KangHo's play, but this game was more so the great play from reality. That just his multitasking was insane.
You know what really impressed me personally? There were run-bys everywhere, Zerglings in every mineral line. And I watched this, I talk about it, and then I look up at the supply and I'm like, what, he's 50 supply up? When did he do that? Like, how? Like, so many Terran players would have fallen apart here, but he not only did he defend, he actually kept up his production and his entire macro. If he can do it again, we might see it 2-0 after all. Game number 2, KangHo versus Reality. We're going into the game. Let's see what the Terran player can do here.